What episode is this, Steven?
37.
37.
37.
The only thing significant about that number is that's my age. Yeah, it's crazy, right?
37. How does that feel, being 37?
I don't know, man. I can't tell if I'm more... Okay, like how... What do you know, 32?
32, yeah.
How do you imagine it feel like to be 37? Like, you think you'll... Like, I can't tell if I'm, like, for instance, more athletic than I expected to be at this age, less athletic, or... You know what I mean? Because I'm thinking back to, like, where I expected to be at 37. I mean, I definitely didn't expect to be here if you asked me, like, 15 years ago. Probably thought I was going to have, like, 2 kids or some shit at least at this point. A few things like that. Yeah, I mean, 37 is an interesting age. It's, like, kind of nothing's happening.
Yeah. You mentioned the like, being... The physical piece, though. Like, do you feel athletic? How like, you know, how do you feel there?
I definitely lost a step.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. You know, like when you watch. Okay, I don't know. I can't tell. I think people are getting more athletic or more skilled at sports at a younger age too, though. For instance, like watching like. I feel like every once in a while I'll see on Instagram or some shit. I get like, you know, like whatever the algorithm sends me, it'll be like 12-year-old kid dunking.
Yeah.
And it'll be like some some guy that's like a 7th grader just like yamming it on a regular rim, and that's like unheard of.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And then so I think over time people are getting more athletic or better or what, I don't know, like, so I can't tell if it's because I'm collectively losing a step or everybody's also like gaining faster. Does that make sense? Or
yeah, it's probably both. I'd say it's probably both, right? Fair to say. One interesting thing for me is like, so I'm 32. 32 to me is significant because back when I was following NFL, they would always talk about like QBs peaking around this time, versus like QBs peak a little bit after because their position is not as physical.
Right.
They're not burnt out and their intelligence goes up.
Right. Like Tom Brady.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like 45 or some shit right now.
Yeah. So early 30s. And so I always remember holding that in my mind because I remember being 26 when I started Muay Thai thinking that was old because I was going up against people who were 18, 20, 21. So I'm now that I'm there, it is interesting. One thing that has been most interesting is that when I was 27, 28, a lot of people would be like, oh, cool, you know, how old are you? And I'd tell them 27, 28. They're like, oh, your old man strength's gonna come soon. And I'm like, what? Like, I know what old man strength is. I've experienced it too, right? Like, I've experienced it, especially doing jiu-jitsu. Someone just grabs you. You're like, what the hell? Why is this person so strong? Believe it or not, I think it's true. I've done nothing the past 2 years because of the pandemic.
You have old man strength?
It's starting to come. Like, I'm clinching. I'm doing grappling now with people that I've done before, and I'm like stronger even though I've done no weight training for 3 years.
Do you think you're stronger or do you think you're better at grappling? So like you know what I'm trying to say? Like,
I actually feel stronger.
Because over time your body gets better at it too, right?
Yeah.
Like you've been doing it for longer now.
Right.
Does it feel easier?
It just feels easier, yeah. Cause it feels like the way, like other people, like when some stronger people used to grab me, you know, wrist control, whatever. It feels like I'm them now, where I'm not doing any technique. I'm just like I'm just holding them. I'm like, oh, you can't get out of it. I'm just holding. Like, I'm not doing, you know.
That's interesting. That
has been really interesting to me. I don't know. I feel like just because I've always focused on technique all my life, because I've never been the strong person, that I'm hyper aware of like where I'm not trying so hard to technique, and I'm just like brute force. I'm just going like this. Oh, it went with me? The hell? Why did that go? That's not supposed to go. So anyway, that's my little bit on I guess entering your 30s as a male.
Are you at 32? Are you more athletic or less athletic than you thought you'd be right now, or physically? Are you, or are you where you expected? Because I feel like, look, for me, a stated goal of mine is like when I'm 50, I want to like look like I'm in my 30s. And so I'm always gonna try to like, you know, push for that. So I don't know what I'm gonna look like when I'm 50, but hopefully like at least my body like resembles somebody in their 30s, and I'm actually curious like when I look back like when I'm 50 if I'm gonna have like achieved that.
Yeah. Exactly. It's a good question. I don't know how to answer that, to be honest with you, because I think I'm more athletic than I thought I would be, but only because, as you know, a lot of my journey and model has been like pushing the limit, like as hard as I possibly could. Right. And so I didn't know, like all those limits that I broke, I didn't know I could do them. I didn't even know they were even like, you know, whereas like, so we have a friend, Marwan, I don't know this guy. His workouts. I mean, the guy looks great for his age, right? But his workouts are not David Goggins, stay hard, kill myself.
Right.
So I don't know if he thinks he's more athletic than he would have been, because it's more like this.
Yeah.
Whereas mine has been like,
Yeah, he definitely takes care of his fucking body.
Yeah, but he doesn't push. I've talked to him a lot about this. He's just like, dude, why are you damaging your body?
He's literally like probably his workout, like he probably never misses a workout.
Yeah.
And then he probably steadily, gets to 80-90% of like whatever he can do, so that he'll never hurt himself either.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And then he eats super healthy, super clean, and then so he'll always like, when that dude's 50, he's gonna look like he's fucking 30 for sure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's definitely ahead of the curve there.
So I'd venture to say that he is probably athletic as he thought he would be, because he had a predictable graph. Right? Whereas, because mine's so sporadic, like I'm more than I thought I would be, only because I didn't know what I could even be. So.
Yeah, that's interesting, man. I've been lucky. I mean, knock on wood, with injuries and shit, because I do know a lot of people at this point have gotten hurt playing sports, and I've had like injuries, but nothing like that required like surgery or any of that shit. So
yeah,
been relatively lucky. So maybe that continues.
Yeah. Next phase: calisthenics, body weight, balance.
It would be fun to train for something. Not a marathon, not yet.
Yeah.
But it'd be fun to train for something where it'd be like, okay, can't do that yet, but if I stuck to this for the next like I don't know how long, like a year, 2 years, whatever, and then I could do that now. That'd probably be fun to. Yeah, I need to train for something. I don't know, just thinking randomly, I guess.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna remember episode 37, right? You're gonna look back on this after once you've decided what that thing that really inspires you to train for. I think it'd be fun.
Hopefully it's not something stupid like playing more StarCraft or something. Dude, I had COVID for the last week, so I've been playing StarCraft with Owen, my friend Don.
Yeah, nice.
It's actually been really fucking fun.
Oh, that's awesome.
But it's such a fucking time sink.
Yeah. But the multiplayer ones aren't as bad. Like, they're not as, I guess.
You remember when we got back into StarCraft for a little bit?
After COVID.
Yeah, when COVID started, and we're like, yo, I guess StarCraft?
Yeah.
That was probably like some of the best like video gaming. That was probably some of the best video gaming I've had in my life. Yeah. Just because if you think about the circumstance that we're in, it was like literally a game that always have known how to play for probably almost a decade. You know what I mean? Like that game came out like almost a decade ago, and we were all around when it came out, and then we grew up playing it in college and stuff like that. I mean, you guys watched GSL and all that stuff too, and so we had a history with that game. But then we became adults, and no one had time to play anymore. And then COVID happened, and then we all had all the fucking time in the world. Yeah. And then we had like a 3-month period. Yeah. Where we're just like, yo, anyone want to do twos?
Yeah. No, so what's funny is just how quickly we forget. So today was my first day back in the office, and actually I don't think I was the only one. A lot of people hit me up when I said that, and they're like, oh yeah, it's my first day too, back after 2 years. And I think what's interesting about what you said is that like how quickly we already forgot what those first couple weeks of quarantine, like true lockdown, were like. You know what I mean? Like people, like there was no cars on the road. Like everything was completely empty. Like people were like, "Oh, the Dolphins are coming back out of here" and stuff. Like it was a very unique time that we'll never ever have back again. You know, in things like StarCraft, right? Like
Right.
10 years hadn't played, come back, hitting up with all your friends, chatting. So
We should make that a thing. We should have like a. I mean, it's probably not gonna happen.
Pseudo lockdown.
No, I mean, at some point we should have like a hey, I don't know, every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. You know, if the boys are around, or anyone that's around should log in.
Yeah.
And then we have twos, and we have fours, we have fours. Do it for like an hour.
Yeah.
Probably fun. My dad still plays Age of Empires.
Oh, that's amazing.
That dude literally like he's just at night. That's his wind down routine. He's just in his room. I can hear like his like villagers and shit and like little armies like fighting and stuff. And I mean he's been playing that game since I was a kid. It's kind of crazy, but
that's one of my earliest memories of like factoids about your dad. Is something your O had mentioned, your brother had mentioned. It's super cool. But I think that was the most interesting thing about pandemic was like we all know these things, right?
Yeah.
We all value like you ask anybody point blank, how important is this to you? Having dinner with your family every day and not being late, like being around your pets and like all that stuff. And everyone values, but we just never. We took it for until there was like a forcing function to like
you don't make time for it.
You don't you
if you value it,
humans
then you would make time for it.
Right.
So like it's almost like you forget the thing you valued in the first place. A lot of times people work a lot to make money. Why do you make money? So that you can spend more time with your family, so that you can take care of your family, so that you can go on vacation, so you can this, that, and whatever.
Yeah.
But then like every day you do see your family if you make time for it, and you don't need to work that much in order to already have that. If you were just kind of like, okay, well, rather than working 60 hours a week, what if I just work 40 hours a week, but then like those 20 hours I could spend on seeing my family more or whatever else.
Yeah.
It is a little hard to remember that throughout the course of like I guess like life.
Yeah. So I do think that it's a bit of an American critique, right? What you just said, because no matter how big you build your empire, like you're just like one chronic illness or someone in your family from depleting whatever financial assets you have because we don't have a social support. So you're working contingencies, right?
Right.
Like you're putting in that extra because the more you value what you have now, you have to put the extra to make sure that you don't lose it on the flip of a dime. I think that premise has made us work extra hard, to hedge against a scary future.
Yeah.
But at the cost of what we truly value. And I think the acknowledgement being that there are enough resources to make sure people have a safety net. We just don't, everyone agrees on that, I think. Everyone agrees that there's enough, but everyone disagrees on how to distribute it and allocate it. That's it's very hard to solve. Like
universal healthcare.
Yeah, and this, the universal healthcare that's come up, the UBI conversations, it's not a shortage of resources, just we have no idea how to allocate them. Who's going to do it? Who gets to decide? What forces decide? Sorry, we're just going everywhere, but there was this long form, I can't remember the publication, a big investigative long form article that just came out on the loan, the COVID relief PPP loans that came out about how those were managed and distributed and everything in the process.
Sure, it's terrible.
Apparently it was, and not to get political about it, but I think the Trump administration had a lot of self-interest in the way where that money went and how it would kind of loop back in certain circumstances, and it's just, I guess my only point is saying this is the allocation problem is just so hard. Who gets what?
If you think about it, dude, imagine somebody's in charge of. Okay, during pandemic, right? They literally just printed a shit ton of money. Somebody was in charge of how much fucking money to print and who to give it to. And they were just printing money at historical rate. Never have they printed this much money. And when I say print, I mean, it's literally probably just, it's not actually printing. You're just like throwing $100K or $100 million into a fucking account somewhere. You're like, all right,
right,
somebody figure it out. So imagine if
with no interest, low interest.
Dude, if somebody was controlling a fucking money printer, and like they're the person that's supposed to keep track of it, like for instance, if I was that guy and I was in charge, I would literally be like, yo, obviously I'm gonna do my best to make this a fair shit, but hey Steven, by the way, like here, I'm gonna leave this for you over here for your company, okay? Just cause pandemic, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And how much of that's just probably fucking going on?
Hey Steven, I'm gonna give you this. Make sure that you give it to Karen and
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
it's just like I mean, because there's still humans that are in charge of this thing.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. That there has to be a lot of like fuckery going.
Tons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder. It's interesting growing up in a capitalistic society. It's probably a net positive, but I mean, all the stuff that like, you know, kind of like that you're talking about, you know, we forget certain things are valuable because we want to like store up our nest egg to make sure that everything's always okay, and you're incentivized by money to do that.
Yeah. So, yeah, exactly. I mean, the way it is so the common advice is save up 6 months worth of like living expenses, right? A year if you're like super like conservative, for anything that might happen, and keep that liquid so you can pay for anything, right? But then after that, you go and you get a hospital bill, and it's like you look at it, and I have good insurance, right? And I remember looking at that bill, and I'm like, remember I had my knee surgery. It was like $30,000, but then insurance covered this much, and then I ended up having to pay that. And I was like, so if I didn't have insurance, I'd have to pay all that, you know. And then people with cancer, it's like $100,000 too. Like, and you're like, wait, I can't stop working.
Is it inflated because of the insurance?
It is. Yeah. That's what I'm saying though. Like that's the like it's a symptom of this.
So the system is like, hey, the insurance is paying for this.
Yeah.
So we just gotta charge them out the ass because it's insurance.
Yeah, healthcare. So you can't. I don't even know where to start. Yeah.
And it's so weird, right? Because you technically probably able to like negotiate on that.
Yeah.
Like, yo, I don't have $30,000. You gotta come in and do.
You can. There's a lot of things, and that is actually a big part of the conversation around the healthcare stuff. Because you don't get me wrong, like hospitals are they'll work with you to like do like installments and all that kind of stuff, and they will. I mean, if you honestly try not paying a hospital bill for a long time, they'll send you reminders for a long time, and then finally they'll be like, okay, we've got to kick it to collections or whatever. So, and this is the point I'm trying to make, is that like, because even in this system, as cutthroat as it is, there's still human decency in that we still can't let people die and not let people get healthcare. I recently went to a retreat. I went to the yoga retreat. One of the people there was a insurance adjuster on the hospital side, and they were the person that said whether or not this medical procedure was covered by insurance or not. And oftentimes shit would fall through, and this person would be about to go into surgery without approval that their thing was going to get paid for. And like someone would have to catch them in that moment and say, oh my God, what are you, like, hold on. Like, but then you're also like, I got to get this done so this person can get surgery.
Right.
You know what I mean? And in those moments, I'm optimistic people are going to do the right, be like, you know, fucking give this person the care, like, you know. So I'm speaking way out of my lane, by the way. I know healthcare. If anyone who's listening is working in healthcare, like, I'm so sorry ahead of time. I know just how, please, I'm asking for a lot of space here.
We're just making shit up.
Yeah, I'm asking for a lot of grace. Like, I know how much I don't know.
Yeah, walk it all back.
Yeah, all the way back. Anyway, so that's funny. We talked about being 37. Talked about.
Yeah, I hope I don't need healthcare soon.
So we're about to enter that Yeah. So it's funny, like also, like there's that decade where everyone's getting married, and then having kids, and then there's gonna be the divorces, and then there's gonna be the people dying that you know. Like it's kind of in that mix now.
I think having kids will be interesting. I think so I've been reading Jordan Peterson's book, The 12 Rules, and rule number 5 about kids is something that's like really interesting to me because I mean, you know the rules, right? So his I think rule 5 is never allow your kid to do anything that makes you dislike them. Something like, I'm paraphrasing.
Yep. No, that's it. That's the one.
And
That's the one.
And he has a whole and he talks very articulate. Like he's very articulate when he talks about why that's the case. So okay. Apparently, up until 4 years of age, you can do a lot to program your kid to where that stuff up to 4 years will stay permanent, like almost like forever, because it becomes like a self-reinforcing like function as well. What I mean by that is, let's say your child is like acting up at like 2 or 3 or whatever, but then let's say as a parent, you just like give them shit or like, you know, to try to get them to stop crying, like you just like try to like spoil them or whatever. Over time, they start to learn by the age of 4 that, oh shit, if I cry, if I'm louder, then I will get more shit, right? Obviously, it might work in the short term in your own household, but the problem with that is once they get into society, but they've already been programmed like that, it actually doesn't work like that. You go into like preschool, you go into first grade, you go into kindergarten, like whatever, and you start crying and trying to get what you want. You know, other kids might think you're fucking annoying and not fuck with you. Your teacher might be like, yo, like, you know, obviously your teacher's not supposed to play fucking favorites, but you have 20 kids to look after and you have this one little fucking bratty kid that just, you know, acts up every time he doesn't get something he needs. Then over time, the adults will kind of be like, yo, fuck this kid. Subtly, but, you know, still fuck this kid. And there's probably some, like, angel kids in the class that the adults actually like. So if you allow your kid to do something that you don't like, A, you won't like them, and B, when they go interact with the world won't like them. And then over time, it becomes a self-reinforcing function where, imagine the 4-year-old that actually got trained properly, and so they're polite, you know, they smile to adults, they know how to act. A teacher would literally be like, oh, dude, this kid's like awesome.
Yep.
And probably treat that kid subtly better, and over time, that kid gets reinforced by the time they're 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, all the way up until the time when they're adults, like they'll get treated better. Just based on everything you program into them up to the age of 4. But I think a lot of times people don't even understand that that's such a quick window. Like, I mean, I have a nephew and a niece, and Leo just turned 4. So I didn't even know this shit when he was like growing up. I mean, I do think he luck boxed his way into, like, you know, he's like he knows how to have conversations with an adult. He can smile, like, you know, like he has like pretty good mannerisms and stuff like that. So I think he'll be fine. But had I not known this, I mean, I probably, you know, we probably could have messed that one up a little bit. So, but yeah, I think it'd be interesting to have a kid and try that. You know what I mean?
It's so remarkable, right? And I think that's why conversations like this and reflections like this are what make parenting really rewarding for people, right? And they say that you learn so much and you're almost relearning about yourself because you're re-examining every construct, right?
Right.
And you have a vested responsibility to do so. You know, like the incentive is right there in your face, like you know, oh, I do want to learn about how like identity formation and behavioral stuff happens with children, my children, other children. It reminds me of, I can't remember if this is like for Jordan Peterson, an adjacent rule or something, but he had a lecture when he talks about like how you know, he talks about the concept of the dominance or the competence hierarchy. That he says, like, look, sorry, like life and humans are just a bunch of different hierarchies that you work your way to ascend, right? It's just a bunch of games. You know, you can go play that game, whatever. And knowing this, right, in terms of like teaching your kids and the like religious moral maxims of life that we take for granted just how important they are, right? Say, for example, you're raising your kid and you have to tell your kid, never, like, always tell the truth and play fair and share your stuff, right? To a kid, that doesn't make sense. Why? If I have, like, I should get what I want, I can get more of what I want. If I lie, I can get more of what I want, right? And all these kinds of things. Like, it doesn't make sense to them. But then the value there is that, like, if you teach them these things, he said, like, the most important thing as a parent for you to teach your kid is that raise them in such a way that they get invited to games, like, and they get invited to play again, right? So, for example, if I play a game with you and I cheat you, I'm not going to get invited. Cool, I would win one, but I don't get invited to the second game. It's the iterations of games, right? And not only in one game, but across all games, like being invited to this game and this game, but also the repeat of games,
right?
That actually, that success as an individual is governed by, right? Because we are not actually raised by our parents. Our parents give us the biological tools by the virtue of genes and whatever, and the 4-year-old stuff. We're raised by our peers.
Right.
We're raised by our peers, right? And so the best thing you can do is make your kid someone who is pro-social and will get invited to things. And it reminds me, and I'll close out with this one thing. I remember the day, it might have been in high school, where I realized that my dad wasn't a super genius. Growing up, I thought my dad was, like, so smart. Like, he'd teach math, he was in the Navy, you know, all that kind of stuff. And I realized my dad wasn't, he was, like, a great guy, but he wasn't, like, top tier genius like I thought he was. And then I started to learn more about my dad's career and the people that he had in his life. And then I figured it out. The reason why my dad has been so successful, it's not even because he's, like, a crazy hard worker or he's super smart or he got really lucky. What happened was, at every point in my dad's life, you could point to one person who wanted to help him, right? Like, when my dad was back in Vietnam, he had, like, these two U.S. Navy officers who sponsored him, right? And he came to America, and then he had another U.S. his boss who co-signed his first car loan, right? And said, hey, come in an hour and a half early every day at work. I'll teach you English and how to code.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and I was like, that's unbelievable. Like, that's the thing, right there. Right. To have someone who's like so proficient decide that you're the person that they're gonna take under their wing.
You gain, like, a mentor.
Yeah, and then I thought about my own coaching in Muay Thai. Like, let's be honest, right? Even as a parent, you don't love your kids. You love your kids equally. You probably don't like them all equally, right? And then as a teacher, a coaching, you don't like all your students the same. Okay,
right.
Like, some students are just really great, and I remember realizing that like I would just show up to class one day, I would walk by 5 people warming up, right? And for some reason, like 2 of them I would stop and give them a little tip, and then I'd just keep going. But the other 3 didn't get a tip from me. It wasn't on purpose. I don't know. But what did that little investment from someone like me to them, like, if you extrapolated it out across time, like, maybe that's all the difference.
It's like you one of my personal rules of life is that I never want anyone to ever regret helping me. Because I think that'd be, like, so fucked up. You know, somebody did something to help you, but then, like, you did something after the fact, and they were like, man, fuck, I really wish I didn't help that guy. Like,
That should be a rule. That should be a rule.
Like, I never want anyone to feel that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because, I mean, I've felt that before. You know, imagine all the people you've helped. There's probably some people you've helped, and then after the fact, like, you know, maybe after the fact, like, they made you regret helping them. And you were like, man, fuck, I could have been spending my time helping someone else, but, you know, this person squandered my time or did whatever. And it doesn't feel good. But you imagine, like, there's things you can do to ensure that somebody never feels that because of you. And I think even from just like a one-to-one relationship, like a matching relationship, that's the least you owe them.
Yeah.
But it also happens to pay off in the future too, because then in the future they're more likely to want to help you. But also, like, if you help somebody, it feels good if it works. Like if I'm, let's say you're coaching, like, I don't know, a kid at Muay Thai, but let's say every single time the kid comes back to class he's better, because obviously he's taken on your instruction, he's trying hard, and you can tell that he's like dedicated or whatever. And then over time he gets better, and then over time you're like, damn, like this, it actually feels good for you. It's like a win for you. So it like, I don't know, I think you have to do everything you can to make sure no one ever regrets helping you. And I think that if you can do that, it's obviously a win for you, but it's obviously going to be a win for them too. And that's not as obvious, the fact that it's also going to be a win for them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because, I mean, it feels good. I mean, if I help somebody and it works out, dude, that shit feels good. I mean, maybe I'm even subconsciously helping people for selfish reasons, but you know what I mean? Like, I mean, you never know, right?
I love that rule, by the way. Are you going to come up with Hack's 12 rules for life? Because I think that's a rule.
I don't know about
that's a great rule.
12 rules is a lot, man. I probably have like 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
Never make someone regret helping you. That's a great rule.
Yeah, I mean, it just makes sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You only have to be on the receiving end of that like once or twice to kind of like think it through. You know what I mean? And just kind of like, man, fuck, this dude would just like listen to me. It would help him so much.
Yeah.
But
So that reminds me of something, a realization I also had that is a little bit more personal to me. It's just a personality trait where I actually don't like getting helped. I don't like people giving me help, maybe to a fault, because I also always stress about how to repay like that kindness. Not that I think things should be transactional.
Right.
But, I'm not that kind of like tit for tat person, but I just do feel like.
Well, I mean, it's natural.
It's
like a natural reciprocity.
Yeah, reciprocity. I'm so appreciative of like that someone gave me this. Like I want to be able to give it back, and I think I to a fault like kind of would like get too caught up in it. But I had a realization at one point where, so when you're like younger and stuff like that, or I felt like the things that people gave me, I could get back, right? Let's just use money as a very crude example, right? Someone pays your dinner, so I'm gonna like cover this thing next time, or maybe whatever, right? And this like this kind of like unspoken balance. And then nowadays we play like Venmo, ping pong, and all that kind of stuff, right? But then one thing I also realized as the gifts coming to me started to get bigger and bigger and non-monetary and non-obvious, I was like, there's literally nothing I can actually do. What I realized was the best way to repay this person who gave me this thing was to pay it forward.
Right.
And to make it so that the person who gave me this trusts that I'm just giving back to the world.
Right.
Even if you don't know that like I'm doing it, right? Like I'm doing it.
Right.
Like I'm giving everywhere I can. Even if it doesn't go back this way, it's going this way. And I don't know, it was like nice in a way. Yeah. Because you don't expect to be repaid. At a certain point, once you're old enough, you've gotten enough wealth, you have enough things, you don't actually want anything back. You just want the person to live a good life.
Right.
And be helped by it and like make the world better.
It actually
or your kids, right? I'm sorry, last thing. Like
no, sure.
Your kid, as a kid, you'll never be able to pay your parents. But your parents, the good parents, also just want you to go live a great life.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to be said about like giving and receiving and stuff like that. I definitely feel weird like receiving help as well, because I mean I don't want to like, not like I don't want to owe somebody, but I always in my head I'm just like trying to like, I guess like keep that balance in a way. Like I don't want to take help if I'm not able to help back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that's a solid strategy, but it's probably not the best strategy. You know what I mean? Because making sure you're always like at least 1-to-1, I mean, that's a pretty solid strategy. You know, you're never gonna make someone regret helping you. At the very least, you know, someone helps me, I'm gonna get them back some other time, and people kind of know that. That there's some sort of balance there. But there's probably a better strategy. It might have to do with paying it forward. It might have to do with, you know, yeah, I think there's a better strategy. There was a book I read a long time ago, and I think this kind of changed my paradigm on it a little bit. It's not perfect for me because I think we naturally fall into whatever category we fall into, but there's a book called Give and Take by Adam Grant. I don't know if you've heard of.
You've mentioned it to me. I've only heard of it actually through you, which is actually kind of criminal because it sounds amazing and.
It's a really good book, but he wrote it a long time ago, and he's definitely written better books since then that I haven't read.
Okay.
Books that have been more popular. But the idea is the whole, there's givers and there's takers, and then there's matchers. So there's three types of people, and you're probably hearing this for like the fourth time because I probably mentioned it a lot.
Love it, yeah.
But it's he was trying to investigate. A giver is somebody that just always tries to give. Like, you know, they just lean towards giving. Like, hey, Steven, what do you need? I got you. Like, all that stuff. A matcher is always somebody, kind of like what I'm just telling you. Like, if oh, you paid for the last one, I'm going to get the next one for sure. Oh, I paid for this one, you know, you're going to get the next. It's kind of like you're making sure that we're at least, like, even. Like, there's a lot of people are matchers. But then there's also takers. And takers are people that literally just never give. But then if someone's willing to give, they're always willing to be like, oh, you're going to pay for it. Cool. Appreciate it, bro. You know, but they'll never look to, you know, cover the bill when it's their turn or whatever. And Adam Grant was investigating, hey, out of these three strategies, which is the best? Most people would say matcher, because, you know, if once in a while it might be advantageous for me to be the one that's paying, but then knowing in the future you got my back and then you're going to pay or whatever. And so most people think matcher. Some people might even think taker because it's not very obvious which one, right?
Yeah.
But it turns out that the top is always going to be the giver. But then if you ask the corollary, who's the bottom?
Yeah.
The bottom also happens to be the giver.
Oh, okay.
So the giver takes both the people that perform the best are givers, but the people that perform the worst are also givers.
Right.
And he made a claim that there's such a thing as like a smart giver. I forget what he called them, but he thinks that the best thing that you're supposed to do is start by giving like as your natural like state. So you give, you know, like you're just like a giver, so you start with a giving strategy. What ends up happening is usually over time when people see someone giving, like it'll attract matchers, it'll attract takers, it'll attract other givers. But smart givers, what they do is after they do an initial round of giving, like they just start as giving, then they just match. Because what that does is if you start giving for the first couple rounds, but then you realize, hey, this dude's just like always just fucking taking, and you switch to a matching strategy, it kind of like blocks out all the takers. You would still get all the matchers. The matchers will, you know, always, there would probably be some win-wins there between you and some matchers, but then like the people that are literally just like known for giving, they attract a lot of opportunity. A lot of people are like, yo, I want to work with Steven because I know he would never screw me over. He's like a generous dude, da da da. And then so you get the benefits, you block all the negatives, and you get the benefits of like the reputation of a giver. But then if you're just an indiscriminate giver, then obviously for the most part you're just going to attract takers.
Right. And
takers will just like kind of latch on to you, and you won't be able to. Yeah, and it's kind of interesting. Like, where do you think we learned that from? Like the matching. I don't know where I learned it from. Like the whole matching. Like, I mean, we want to learn it from the same place because we're both Viet.
So I parked that thought.
Okay.
At the beginning of this conversation, I was going to ask you, is it from our Asian culture? You know, like never show up to someone's house or an event empty-handed, right? And there's all these like things about like, yeah, you accept things that you accept outright and from whom and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So I think that's where I learned it from.
You ever did your family do this where like you guys go out to eat and then like the adults are like fighting for the bill?
Yeah.
And like it's literally like a fucking fight, and then like, you know, like the waiter's kind of like, I don't know who to give it to.
Yeah.
And then like there's probably like at least 2 or 3 adults like physically assaulting this dude to take my credit card.
Yeah, no, I mean for the non-Asians, it's actually like
They're like, no, take this card. And
it's ridiculous.
It's actually it's we've probably gotten used to it over the time.
Yeah.
But just like watching it, like I can only imagine like if I had never seen that within my family before, and just seeing like these old Asian people fighting the waiter to be like, yo, take my fucking card, and it's just kind of interesting. But if you think about it, that's where we learned it from.
Yeah.
And obviously on the car ride home, I was like, yo, why don't you just let our uncle pay? I mean, he really wanted to fucking pay. My mom was like, obviously, we can't let him pay.
Yeah.
Because he paid for the last one, so it's we have to pay for this one.
Right.
Don't you understand? And I'm like, I don't know if that makes any sense, but sure, I get it, I guess.
Yeah.
And then say, oh, it's just fight. Or they do like the sneak away to the bathroom thing. But then like intercept the waiter and be like, yo, take my card.
Yep.
And the waiter's like, oh, I'm sorry, you already gave me one.
Yep.
And then come back to the table and like, what the fuck? Can't believe you got it this time.
We definitely got it from our parents. But I think that what's interesting is that, like, I love that framework, by the way, right? It's like a 3x3 matrix of, all the cases. But I think in all of these, like, kind of game theory-esque scenarios, the interesting part is always, like, the nth iteration of it, And what's funny is that a lot of people don't ever change or adjust their strategy. Like, the winning strategy is always to adjust your strategy.
So one of these days, I should just be like, oh yeah, Steven, you got this one, dude.
Yeah.
You also got the next one.
And they never change. Like, that's the funny thing. There's takers who will never, like, there will always be takers, and they just won't actually change. And they don't even have a self-awareness. And likewise, bless their heart, there's givers who are, like, just, like, bleeding themselves dry, like, and they won't change it. They can't, like, and it's, and so I don't want to take for granted that, the conclusion of Adam Grant's book is predicated on people changing their strategy, but a lot of people don't change their strategy.
Right. I think he's honestly just looking out for the givers at the bottom.
Yeah.
Like, yo, you guys just gotta understand, like, there's just gonna be some takers out there.
Right.
And I know you want to give because, there's some great people out there you should be giving to, but you shouldn't be giving to these motherfuckers.
Yeah.
And that's probably all he's trying to say.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, it was interesting because it's like the first time you think about wait, if we do this right, then we both get more. Like, the best strategy isn't that, hey, you give me something and I just fucking take it. If we do this right, like, we both win. There's no reason not to do it. It's like the game theory optimal play if you know the other person's gonna participate.
Right.
You know what I mean? But how do you attract more of those without, like... Because, kind of like the prisoner's dilemma? Like, if you obviously both know that neither of you guys are going to confess, then you always just don't confess, because then you only get, like, like, very little punishment.
Right.
But you can't know the other person's not going to fucking do it.
Yeah.
And then so you always have to go with the middle of the road matching strategy. And then you both get 5 years in jail.
Yeah.
Rather than one person getting 20 and the other guy getting 1. So it's the same thing, but I guess with, like, giving. Like, how do you know who to give to, and how do people know that they can give to you, and then you both win? You don't really, but
yeah.
It'd be funny to teach people giving strategies. I wonder how early Leo can learn something like that. My 4-year-old nephew used to be like, hey, Leo, anytime someone gives you something, just fucking take it. Never give them anything back. They're like, okay, Uncle Hack.
Yeah. I can't remember the exact experiment, but I actually met a Muay Thai fighter abroad that would do these little financial experiments on his 2 kids. Just like Leo only had a daughter, and a son and a daughter. But he found out, like, he would make these, like, unfair scenarios where, like, okay, you get this, but you don't get this, or, like, okay, you get this, but I'm gonna charge you interest for it and all that stuff, and so I think there's probably things there, and luckily he found out that, like, the kids would actually share with each other, rather than see, sister not get something, so.
Yeah.
There's got to be there's got to be a curriculum around like Jedi mind tricking your kids with like little finance problems, you know?
Yeah, those little kids are smart, man.
Yeah.
They're like smart. They're always like, why? Like Liana's always like, why?
Yeah.
But I can always get to an explanation where she kind of like gets it.
Yeah.
So I mean, they understand if you're willing to sit there long enough to answer all their whys. Those guys are funny, dude.
All right, so it looks like we got about 20 minutes left here.
Mm-hmm.
Should we talk about Will Smith?
Oh yeah, we were supposed to talk about Will Smith.
We were going to talk about Will Smith.
All right, so I like the fact that this is like a time capsule thing.
Yeah, right.
So like it just happened. Literally every single podcast is talking. Like Joe Rogan just talked about it. Like all the late night shows and stuff like that talking about it. Do we need to give a rundown of what happened, or is that not?
No, everyone's gonna know that. You know how everyone knew how like Janet Jackson's like nip slip at Super Bowl or whatever. Mm-hmm. Like everyone's just gonna already know.
Yeah, this
Will
is
Smith
definitely
slapped Chris Rock.
Yeah, this is definitely gonna be top 3 meme. Like, yeah, right.
It's literally never. Yeah, nothing like this has actually ever happened.
On the night he won an Oscar too, isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
They're gonna be able to make some pretty good jokes about this going forward now. You want to do initial thoughts?
Yeah. You want to go first?
So
I'm gonna pop this tab here.
Sure. Okay, so I definitely have a personal bias. Towards I don't know if you count this as another like hack rule. But generally speaking, when somebody says something that like physically harms me, or can physically harm me, or can lead to like, I don't know, can hamper my ability to live like my life, then words should not be like, if somebody says words to me and it's just words, like it's not like something that can come back on me some other way, that harms my life, then, and I get mad, then I think that's my fault. I think like I need to take personal responsibility of everything that goes on inside my body, my emotions and all that stuff. And if I'm not careful, and let's say you just say some shit to me,
yeah,
and I just get offended and I lose my cool because of it, I can make the argument, well, it's Steven's fault. He said this shit and I lost my shit. But I think, no, that's not Steven's fault. That's fucking my fault because I let him.
What if I just need to get my ass beat and get a lesson?
I mean,
and you're doing the world a favor by putting me on my place.
Okay, if I could consciously make that decision, if I'm like, all right, look, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm not losing my shit.
I'm not losing. Okay.
But under my own volition.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm just gonna slap this dude.
Right.
Because I think it'll make the world a better place. then maybe there's some wiggle room there.
Right.
But I feel like if you were able to just, and don't get me wrong, if you were saying shit and I don't know if what Chris Rock said technically crossed that line in Will Smith's head. Because maybe like from Will Smith's perspective, he was like, oh, my wife's been battling this disease. What he said like is an obvious attack on her, and that inhibits her ability to live, or it crosses that threshold. Obviously in the moment he probably felt and thought so. I do think he was probably wrong because this dude's a fucking comedian and he's standing there just telling a joke.
Yeah.
And from Will Smith's perspective, he lost his cool, and when all the facts come out after the fact, like, obviously, I think it was said that Chris Rock didn't even know that, that this lady had, what's it, alopecia?
Yeah, alopecia.
Is that just like hair loss, like balding?
Yeah, so the hair basically gets thinner and thinner and thinner until it just kind of doesn't root, it just falls out.
Okay,
yeah.
So I don't know for sure. I've been reading a little bit on the forums and shit like that, I guess, on Reddit or Twitter or whatever. Some people don't think it's like it's not like she has chemo.
Mm-hmm.
So it's definitely like a tier, like I don't know what you.
Regardless,
right.
he had an opportunity to stand behind it. Like to your point, like if it was a personal thing that people didn't know about the struggle, or it was a uniquely like devastating situation, he could have taken the time to explain it at length, but he didn't, right? Like he went and did his acceptance speech that was like kind of just random, and then he obviously backtracked to the degree that maybe his influence and his pressure. But if whatever, like to your point, if it was lucid at any point, he should have just stood behind it, right? But he didn't. He didn't. So
I think he knew he made a mistake.
Yeah.
But I think I think if somebody was able to use words to make me physically incite violence, and I had no control over it, then they fucking got me.
Yep.
And that's my fault. I think that's his fault that he let that happen. Like he lost control over like this thing that he's supposed to be in control of.
Yeah.
And there's probably certain things that Chris Rock could have said on that stage, for me to be like, you know what, he probably should have walked there and slapped that dude. Yeah. That probably wasn't one of them.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what I mean? I don't think that was one of them. And I think when all the facts came out after the fact that Chris Rock didn't even know this, that she had alopecia, like, I know she talks about it on her Instagram, and obviously Will Smith probably knows about it, of course, but like, I mean, from the perspective of this comedian, he's standing on stage at the Oscars, and literally every single comedian standing up there, like, literally they're just looking into the audience. These guys are sitting in the fucking front row. That's what they do. They just roast the people. That's like their job. They're supposed to stand there and start roasting. Everyone laughs.
Yeah.
And that's like the whole bit, So I think that the rule is words should not be able to make it so you lose your shit. I think that's the rule.
I agree.
Sometimes words can make it so that you can use physical, like, reactions to stand up for it. I don't think that was one of those times. But even in those cases, ideally, you don't lose your shit to do so. You know what I mean? Like, you don't just just get unhinged and so. And it was interesting. Like, I think most people, including Will Smith, said that he was wrong after the fact. And it makes sense. You know? I mean, some people were kind of like, yo, it's just a man standing up for his wife, and I'm not married, so I don't understand that as much. I get where they're coming from, you know what I mean? But I think that in a society of rules and laws and stuff, that doesn't trump society's like laws.
Yeah.
And rules.
So, I agree, by the way. I have a strong bias in self-control as well. Mastering your internal domain. I don't really actually have much more to add because I think we're kind of in agreement. I will say that what's a little bit concerning for me is that what's interesting about this, by the way, is that it's like the perfect thing that, like, regardless of your like political position, or I don't know, like it just, do you know what I mean? Like I think the people on the right were like, defend your wife.
Wait, was that what happened?
Well, I don't. That's what I'm saying. There's positions, like that's what I love about this is that it fractured every.
Yeah, there's not like
there was no place that you stood on that was still the same place for anyone, right? Because there was like don't be sensitive to like don't be so sensitive, right? And then there was but like
stand up
justice.
for your wife.
Justice should be dealt, and that was on both sides. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so like I just like.
I saw a tweet. Somebody was like, yo, it's kind of times like this where you kind of feel you regret that Donald Trump still doesn't have his Twitter.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Because he obviously would have tweeted something that shit would have been...
for sure.
That shit would have been fucking funny.
Yeah, for sure.
Isn't that crazy though that the fucking Fresh Prince got up there and just slapped the dude on the night he won his Oscar, and he's been trying to win an Oscar for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And it just so happened that, I mean, I feel bad for him because I do think that he's probably under a lot. I mean, you know all the shit that went down with his wife.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if everyone knows about like all the other background shit, but I mean, Will Smith got dragged a little bit.
Yeah.
For a little while before this. Basically, like his wife, him and his wife have an open relationship, but then like I'm not sure. It sounded like I don't know how you cheat on someone when you both have open relationships, but it sounded like she cheated on him with her son's friend, like this rapper dude named August, and then.
So you absolutely can, by the way.
If you
so open relationships. Imagine how much communication.
Right.
Matters
there's still
in a normal one.
There's
still rules.
There's still rules in it.
There's still rules.
She's like breaking.
Who are you going out with? Whatever.
Like you can't fuck your son's friend. Type
Yeah,
shit.
there's all that stuff, right? Like, and there's the arrangements are completely unique to the couple.
Right.
Right. Like some ones like I don't want to know about it.
Right.
So some are like so you can break the rules.
Right.
For sure.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so she obviously broke at least something. and she called it an entanglement, but she has a show called like I think Red Table or Red Talk or some shit where she literally just goes into any topic, and then she brought Will Smith on the show or something to interview him. Or like basically it all got out there, and everybody was kind of like, yo, she like fucking played this dude. He's like a fucking simp and all that stuff, and then so obviously when this shit came back up, everyone was like, yo, why the hell is he? Like they were literally roasting this man. They were like, yo, Will's better than me. I would never defend another man's woman or some shit like that. Just shit like that. And it was just bad. And I don't know. So he got kind of dragged a little bit.
Yeah. So this is where I want to extend like compassion to Will Smith, because you really saw this, and it's come to the forefront with Britney Spears, her story, right? Where we don't treat celebrities like humans, and because they're rich and famous, we don't feel sympathy for them. But we don't realize like the human mind is not meant to deal with that kind of.
No, that shit's weird.
Especially child stars and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's
right.
That's weird.
And so only now people are like. Back when Britney Spears was like shaving her head and doing all that stuff, you look at the talk shows, you look at all this stuff, she was getting ripped apart.
Right, they're calling her crazy.
She's crazy, and all that stuff, without realizing that we're watching a human being have a mental breakdown under a microscope.
Right.
Right? In one of the tensest situations.
And it's probably even worse because like she's doing it and then everyone's reacting. Yeah. And then it kind of feeds into itself and
it just becomes this circus, and we don't realize what we're participating in, right? Like we like to think that we're morally upright and would never participate or be complicit in something like that, right? Like even we look back at Rome in the Colosseum where gladiators were killing each other. We're like, I would never watch like people like this for amusement and like get dragged around and all that stuff. But we do all the time. You know what I mean? When we watch professional athletes have their scandals, we watch all this stuff, and so we make fun of Kanye for all this stuff. Now, the Will Smith thing is just the latest, I think, in that whole merry-go-round of us just poking at fun and putting down someone whose situation we know nothing about actually, but it's so easy because they're fucking rich and famous,
Right. Those constructs are crazy though, because you imagine that dude's constructs got updated like that for millions, if not even maybe a billion people.
Maybe, dude. He's a worldwide superstar.
Right, but at the very least, every single person every single person he's gonna interact with, forever, and even people he doesn't know that he's gonna interact with, and people like his constructs just got updated like that.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like just some oh dude, Steven just picked up a new hobby type shit. It was this dude won an Oscar, But before that, he went up there and slapped the shit out of Chris Rock, and then told him to shut the fuck up on national TV twice.
Yeah.
And possibly having a mental breakdown right now. Oh, by the way, his wife cheated on him. All that shit's out there too.
Yeah.
Let's update the mental construct real fucking quick.
Yeah.
And then so you imagine like when he interacts with another fucking person, it's always been like very interesting to me, because I'm not like famous or anything like that, but like because I played poker for a while and there was like stuff out about how well I was doing. Sometimes like when I meet people and they already know a decent amount about me, that's always been like super interesting to me, just because I'm like, oh dude, like this guy doesn't even, it's like I'm talking to someone that already knows so much about me, but I don't know very much about them.
Yeah.
And I wonder what they do know about me, because if they actually knew like about me, like kind of like, oh well, this dude like woke up at, like past noon today and he still hasn't like done this and that, like but because a lot of the stuff out there is positive stuff, they don't think that I'm as human as I am.
Yeah.
And that's always been really interesting to me. But I imagine, obviously, and that that's like little shit, because I'm not even like really famous. Like someone literally has to like kind of has read an article about me and then knows me somehow and then meets me and then know enough to be like, oh dude, like you're hacked or whatever.
Yeah.
And that hasn't happened in a while. But imagine someone like Will Smith. It's like there's nobody that doesn't know him.
Yeah.
Nobody that doesn't know him. His constructs are literally like just like.
And it's not even that too. It's just also at his level of stature and altitude, the only people around him are the people who are also the active stewards of his construct and you know what I mean? Like he's around. The quickest way is just like he's around, like most people who are famous around yes people, yes men, yes women, right? Like these people are not going to say any, they're incentivized to not upset you.
Right.
Like a strong incentive to not upset you and not tell you, not even see it. They might not even have the ability to see you for beyond your construct,
Yeah.
And it becomes this crazy bubble. Like,
it is a pretty wild situation.
yeah.
I do agree with you. There should be compassion given to. I mean, Will Smith's just a human, just like any one of us. Yeah. I can't imagine, like what he. Hopefully, he has like a really good fucking therapist, or like a team of therapists, or like people around him to kind of like understand this better, and kind of like, I mean, because this dude's still like a human.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If that happened to me, I mean, dude, like, I mean, this happened, then he won an Oscar, then he has to face the backlash the next day, and there's all these people saying all this shit about him. They don't even know, like, I mean, we don't even know, like, his personal life and all that stuff. I mean, we're sitting there fucking talking about it. Imagine how many other people were doing that shit.
Yeah.
Everyone's talking about, and you know what the crazy thing? And I'm not sure why this is, but I couldn't stop trying to, like, see what people thought about it.
Yeah.
I couldn't stop like looking on Twitter, and I couldn't stop like waiting to see what Will Smith's statement was gonna be.
It dominated.
And I mean,
it dominated.
But I wanted to know too.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure why. I mean, Will Smith is a person that I definitely look up to, or have looked up to. Because I used to watch Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and the thing is, like, 90s sitcoms, a lot of times that's where you learn a lot of like your life lessons from.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was the thing that programmed like. My generation, if not some of your generation too, watching like Fresh Prince, and
100%.
A lot of those were like funny shows, but most of them always had like some sort of like a moral or some shit.
We're the same generation, dude.
I mean, it just, I don't know, like people watching Saved by the Bell, Full House, and
all this.
So and Will Smith was the main character of that, and Fresh Prince out of those shows was probably my favorite.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it was like just this very unique brand of humor that also kind of taught you.
And then he went on to Men in Black, and then he went in to play these drama roles.
And and it was always kind of like, yo, I want to see what Will Smith's doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so the contract of Will Smith has been in my head. The story I've been following since I was like, I don't know, like 12 or some shit probably.
Yeah.
So I've been following this dude for 25 years. This construct. And maybe it's not like I'm following like, it's not like I'm like following like all of his like, but I kind of keep up with him at least a little bit. I'm not like Will Smith's #1 fan. But I've probably seen at least 5 or 6 of his movies. kind of, obviously, if I was watching the Oscars, just watching it, and none of that shit went down, I would be like, yo, I want Will Smith to win this Oscar.
I mean, what's the word for it? Is like icon?
He's definitely an icon.
It's something that, like, I mean, I'm trying to not maybe outright use like religious terminology, but with secularism, and you think about, like, I mean, he's kind of like he's like a demigod, like,
no, I mean, he's like probably the most famous. He's definitely one of the most famous, like, Hollywood movie stars, for sure. I mean, and he's been around for. Yeah. He's been around for forever.
Yeah, forever.
I mean, he's good enough to win a fucking Oscar.
Yeah.
He's definitely, like, up there. He's gotta be like, what, top 5, like, black movie star, maybe top 3. I don't know, but like, he's definitely like he's earned his spot in the limelight, and everyone knows about everyone's. I mean, even if I'm not following him as closely as I used to, like when he was on Fresh Prince and, like, what do you do, Independence Day, Men in Black, all those.
Yeah.
I still want him to do well. I'm still, like, almost feel vested in knowing what happens to this dude. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, yeah, and so I couldn't stop, like, stop refreshing Twitter. I know it's a weird thing to admit.
Yeah.
But I was literally like, yo, when was gonna happen? Oh, dude, that's pretty funny. And I was doing that shit, and then, like, went to sleep next day, woke up next morning. So I wanted to put out a statement. No statement yet. No. Like, I couldn't stop, man. It's fucking bad.
I want to be mindful of your time. I know.
Sure.
We said we kind of time boxed this.
I'm late to everything.
Okay. But I do think that this warrants a further conversation. Mm-hmm. Like, I think you queued it up in a very good spot, in which, what would it take for, like, I mean, there's like a Will Smith in all of us. We talk about constructs. We talk about, like, the images that we store, but to an extent that it makes you actually feel like it's a part of you that's being affected, right? I don't know. I'm kind of reading. Maybe that's true or not true. Like, maybe not you, but like you said, part of your childhood. Like, it's like Will Smith is a.
It's like a character that you know.
Yeah.
Even though obviously he doesn't fucking know me.
Yeah.
But he's a character that I know.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, Will Smith, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. That dude's funny. He's, he's like, I've probably seen him in a number of interviews. I kind of saw him when he was doing sitcom.
He's a fundamental construct, like gravity, like you drop something, things fall down, sun comes over there. Will Smith is, like, gonna make jokes and be in an action movie, right? Like, your world is predictable when these things stay true, like.
There's just a story of Will Smith that I have in my fucking head.
Yeah, exactly.
And I want to know how it ends. I'm vested in it.
Okay, yeah.
In some way or another.
Right.
I mean, I don't really pay that much attention to, like, Hollywood and movie stars. Mm-hmm. But the only reason I know Will Smith is because I watch Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I probably watch every single episode of that show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if an episode came on now, like, on Nick at Night or some shit, and it just happened to be on TV, I'd probably watch that shit too. And so this dude has been in here. Yeah. Like, the idea of Will Smith has been here for a long time. You know how, like, you've had, like, direct childhood friends, like people that you probably remember just, like, their name. I would say I've probably had some childhood friends, people I actually fucking knew that actually affected me at some point in time. But obviously the construct of Will Smith is so much stronger than that kid that I knew, just because I've seen this more recent. Mm-hmm. And so I don't know. It's like the story of this person. It's like when Kobe died. Yeah. Most of the people that not that many people actually knew Kobe. Mm-hmm. But when he fucking died, like, so many people, like, cried. So many people, like, had tribute to him. So many people and it affected people. Yeah. It's not just the person that died, it's the construct of Kobe. Like, when a 10-year-old shoots I guess they might say something else now, but it used to be, like when you like shoot a piece of paper into, like, a waste bucket, you're like, oh, Kobe, you know what I mean? And it's just kind of like a thing. It means something. Kobe means, Mamba mentality. Mm-hmm. Like, you don't give up, you work hard, if you want some shit, you go after it and you get it. Like, and so that idea, that thing, even without Kobe here, that thing still exists.
Yeah.
So Will Smith is obviously still here, but the Will Smith, the idea, that's the thing that you're kind of like, oh shit, I wonder what happens. Like that's the.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've rambled a lot. I don't think I made very much sense, but I guess we wanted to talk about Will Smith and that slap. So.
Yeah. Well, I'll close it with this that I'm thinking of because, it's funny because throughout this whole conversation, this last part of the conversation with Will Smith, like, I was thinking a lot about fictional constructs and fictional characters who are, like, I couldn't help it. Okay, you said 25 years, been around. I was thinking about One Piece and Luffy. Like, Luffy's a construct that,
he's a fucking construct.
Like, since you were a kid, but Luffy's not gonna one day go up and slap. Because he's stable, he's not real, but I thought about that, but anyway, I'll close with the Batman quote, right, which is Dark Knight. You either die a hero or you live long enough to become a villain.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah,
I still think Will Smith is gonna redeem himself.
You think so? Okay.
Well, I think that because like it's kind of like
he's on the villain track.
Well, I'm like I have vested interest. Yeah. Like I'm like, yo, Will Smith. I mean, he made a fucking mistake.
Yeah.
He knows he did, but like he's kind of like the hero's journey, man. He's like in that fucking abyss, and he's gonna be able to bring that shit back somehow. Or that's what I think. I hope.
You know what the big asterisk in all of this, though? Not to extend this.
Sure.
Scientology.
What's the sign?
The fact that he's well-known Scientologist.
Oh, he's a Scientologist?
Oh yeah, he's up there.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's up there.
I actually want to look into Scientology. I'm actually curious.
Yeah.
That's pretty fucking funny.
Man. So constructs.
These live ones hit different, right?
They do hit different.
And it's also because it's like after like a work day and everything.
Yeah.
Different time, different vibe.
Yeah.
I can fuck with these live ones every once in a while.
We'll see.
I guess we'll see how it turns out on the camera.
Yeah.
I felt more rambly today. But today was kind of like, I mean, we were popping into universal healthcare.
Yeah.
And then Will Smith and the constructs. And then like fighting over bills. I don't even know what the fuck we were talking about before that.
So past couple pods, including this one, it's only ramping up. It's like I haven't been reining it in. I've decided to because.
Oh yes, I opened with 37, just like my age.
Yeah.
And then we just like went into whatever the fuck we were talking about.
Yeah. So anyway, one of our few live pods, always fun. We'll see how it goes. Maybe do more of these. We're definitely gonna bring back, I think, the quote reaction analysis breakdown that we tried last week. Iron that out a little bit. And we'll go from there.
We didn't get a title for this one.
Will Smith.
No, it's gotta be some random shit that we say in the middle of the thing.
Okay.
We'll think of it later.
We'll figure it out. Over now.
Right, thanks guys. Or